a pump organ, an Estia pump organ, which you can't really fake that with samples. It's just too nuanced of an instrument.
What about with Tom Waits? When you played with him, like you did a couple record, like, are you on Mule Variations, or what was your recording history with him?
The first thing I did with him was a tour, the Glitter and Doom tour. It's a big tour he did, last tour he did, in fact. And we ended up, he wanted to do his whole catalog, so we ended up picking close to 70 songs, I want to say, and learned them all in 4 weeks.
Wow.
And then he would just shuffle cards every night, pick 15 songs for the night, and hopefully we'd remember them. But he was very cool with technology. Like when I went to rehearse, I brought all the old stuff up, Chamberlains and whatnot, and he was totally fine with just computers, and all the sounds exist on my computer now. I transferred them to Sample World and stuff like that, and he was totally fine with that. We just would put a sheet over a blanket over the computer so it didn't look too techno on stage. Yeah, and we put the keyboard inside an old spinet frame, so it looked cool. Okay. But he's totally down with technology. He even wanted to make a sample of his voice, making a bumblebee sound. So I actually sampled him chromatically and made a instrument out of him.
Really?
But yeah, he and we would stamp and smash the walls with sticks and record stuff just to have it, and we would actually use it on the on the tour. So he's totally hip to technology.
Now as I kick out the clouds in my hanging, as I swing out over the crowd, I will search every face for cinders, and she will go off with me down there.
What was that tour like? Was it all over the world, or just in certain parts of the States, or how big of a tour was that?
It was a big tour, but unfortunately it wasn't long enough for me. It was the best tour I've ever done in my life, I think, just in terms of I'm such a fan already, and to be able to sit in the front row and just watch him sing every night. But we did, I think, I want to say 6 weeks, and half of it in the States, half of it in Europe. In the States, he picked odd cities like, Mobile, Alabama, and Jacksonville. Anywhere he would go would sell out. People would just drive to see him. He already knew that, so he decided on purpose to avoid big cities in the States so that some of the people in the other parts of the States could see him. And then Europe was more traditional big cities. We started in San Sebastian and worked our way up, ended up in Dublin and England and whatnot. And those are all just an amazing show, amazing theatrics, because Kathleen, his wife, was running, designing stage. And also, he has so many fans from movies that set guys were making him stuff. It's just like really incredible show.
And what was he like as a musical boss? Like, was he directive to you, or did he just sort of leave you to your own devices?
First of all, he's the sweetest guy in the world, which was really happy to know that, because sometimes you meet your heroes and they're not.
Tell me about it.
But he's just the sweetest, complete family guy. He had his whole family out. He had his son playing drums, Casey. His daughter was doing wardrobe. His then 14-year-old son, Sullivan, was doing merch. And
wow,
he liked having his family around. Kathleen, of course, was there. And but he really cared a lot about the show. I mean, as loose as he is on stage, he's just a really energetic person. Kathleen would write, pages of notes after each show, like,
really,
let's change the lights on this song, notes for everything. And I would love to get them, and she was surprised that I was interested. And we would review every day. We'd do a sound check and review what happened the day before, and how should we end that song, and what should we do with this and that. And so we were always, he really cares about what's happening, and consequently makes you care too. So, but he's not like a mean boss or anything, but he's definitely, aware of what's
involved.
Happening. Yeah, but if you're playing a solo or something, he doesn't he's not going to tell you what to do. It's just to go at it.
Yeah. Was there a musical director of that tour? Like, was there somebody sort of in charge of the band end of things?
I don't think so. I mean, a little bit by default, I was a little bit in that role. In that, he would call me up at night and say, "Could you make a chart for these 3 songs? I want to try add these to the set or something." And I would take it upon myself to make a quick chart for everybody to have. But other than that, I think,
And so does he not dig being out touring? Is it just not his thing? Like, that was, I don't know, what was that, 15, 16 years ago or something? That
it was
his last tour?
2008.
Okay. So 12, 13 years. What's his deal?
I don't know. I think he really enjoys touring, but maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I mean, he really enjoyed being out there and had a blast doing it, and But I couldn't tell you. Maybe he's more into acting now, or I talked to his engineer a while back. I did a record with him, and I said, "Is he ever going to tour again?" He said, "Yeah, he keeps talking about it. Maybe." And he's still running around his studio recording songs and poetry. Yeah. He was my friend said he was banging on the walls with his fist, making beats and recording poetry and stuff. So, he's just a creative powerhouse. He's always up to something, But
can we just jump back for a second? Just tell me a bit about your childhood and your